Discipline Blueprint. Part 1. How to conquer comfort, build mental strength, and dominate every area of life. By Jean Ray. Chapter 1, Discipline is not a day, it's a strategy. Motivation is a liar. It shows up when it wants, disappears when you need it, and always makes excuses sound wise. Picture this. It's early morning. The alarm rings. You know you should get up, stretch, maybe even exercise. But the bed is warm, the blanket is heavy, and your brain whispers, 5 more minutes. We've all been there. In fact, some of us live there, stuck in the endless cycle of tomorrow I'll start, next week I'll be better, this year will be different. But here's the truth no one wants to admit: discipline is not something you stumble into. It's something you design. Most people think discipline is about pushing harder, about gritting your teeth and forcing yourself through pain. But real discipline, the kind that changes your body, your bank account, your relationships, and your future, isn't about random bursts of willpower. It's about building a strategy. It's about setting up systems that hold you up when motivation betrays you. That's what this book is about. Not another motivational speech that gets you hyped for a week. Not another challenge that dies after 30 days. This is your blueprint, a map for building discipline that lasts across every part of your life: fitness, wealth, time, and mindset. And it begins with one hard truth: motivation is a liar. Why motivation isn't enough. Motivation feels amazing when you have it. It's like rocket fuel, it shoots you forward, makes everything look possible. But here's the problem: it's unstable. One day you wake up ready to conquer the world. The next day you're staring at the fridge, convincing yourself that ordering takeout won't hurt. Motivation comes and goes with your mood, your environment, even the weather. If you build your future on motivation, you'll live in cycles of starting strong and quitting early. Discipline, on the other hand, is boring. It's repetitive. It's showing up on days you don't feel like it. And that's why it works. Think about it. Motivation might get you to the gym once. Discipline gets you there 3 times a week for a year. Motivation might get you to save money once. Discipline builds an emergency fund that changes your life. Motivation might help you apologize once. Discipline builds relationships based on consistency and trust. Discipline is not sexy. But it's reliable. And reliability beats excitement every time. So how do we build it? Through what I call the 3 pillars of discipline. Structural discipline, the habits, routines, and environments that shape your behavior. Mental discipline, the ability to control your emotions and thoughts instead of being controlled by them. Tactical discipline, the day-to-day execution, the planning and adjustments that keep you on track. With these 3 pillars, you stop relying on feelings and start relying on a system. Let's see how that looks in real life. Discipline in fitness, the training ground. Fitness is the easiest place to see the power of discipline because your body doesn't lie. You either show up or you don't. You either put in the reps or you don't. Think of your body as the training ground for discipline. When you control your physical habits, you begin to believe you can control everything else. Here's the truth: it doesn't take a perfect program or hours in the gym. What matters is consistency. A simple framework. Move daily. Even if it's a walk, non-negotiable. Fuel smart. Not perfect smart. Choose the meal that supports your energy instead of drains it. Rest properly. Sleep is not a luxury, it's a tool. I call this the fitness trinity: move, fuel, rest. And when you master these 3, you're not just getting fitter, you're training your brain. You're building the identity of someone who shows up regardless of how they feel. Because if you can drag yourself out of bed for a workout you don't feel like doing, you can drag yourself through a tough day at work, a conflict in your relationship, or the discipline of saving money. Fitness is discipline in its rawest form. And that's why we start here. Discipline in finance, the money blueprint. Now let's talk about another battlefield, money. Money exposes discipline the way a spotlight exposes dust. You might think you're doing well until you look at your bank statement and see where your focus really is. Financial discipline isn't about being rich. It's about being in control. And control comes from three things: budgeting, knowing where your money goes before it leaves your account; saving, paying yourself first even if it's small; spending with intention, asking, does this move me forward or keep me stuck? One of the biggest lies people tell themselves is, I'll save when I make more. No, you won't. If you can't save at $1,000, you won't save at $10,000. Because saving is not about the number. It's about the discipline of choosing long-term gain over short-term pleasure. Here's a simple practice. Set up an automatic debit order to save a fixed percentage of your income. Even 5%. Review your spending weekly. Look at where your money leaks. Create a growth fund money only for education, investment, or skills. Financial discipline builds freedom. And freedom is what most people mistake for wealth. Discipline of mind and time. But perhaps the most overlooked battlefield of discipline is the mind. How many times have you lost hours to scrolling, to gossip, to distractions that left you drained but accomplished nothing? That's not a time problem. That's a discipline problem. Time management is really self-management. Here's the rule: if you don't run your time, someone else will. Start by blocking your day into focused zones. Work when you work. Rest when you rest. Protect the non-negotiables. But discipline of time is connected to discipline of mind. Because if you can't control your thoughts and emotions, your schedule won't matter. Emotional discipline means choosing not to argue over every provocation. Refusing to let anger make your decisions. Recognizing when fear is speaking louder than facts. And here's a practice. At the end of every day, ask yourself, did I live today on my terms, or did I react to everyone else's agenda? This one reflection can reset your life. Closing, the blueprint unfolds. ChatGPT said. Perfect. Here's a cinematic closing punch for the end of chapter 1 that will give listeners goosebumps and set them up for the journey ahead. Closing, the blueprint unfolds. So here's where we stand. Motivation can start you. Discipline will finish you. Fitness trains your discipline through the body. Finance trains your discipline through choices with money. Time and mind train your discipline through focus and emotional control. Discipline is not a punishment. It's freedom. The freedom to live on your terms. The freedom to stop being dragged around by moods, temptations, and other people's expectations. And the best part? Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. Step by step. Brick by brick. This book will hand you the blueprint, strategies, tools, and real-life frameworks to take discipline from a vague idea to a lived reality. Because once you master discipline, you don't just change what you do. You rewrite the story of your life. So as we step into this journey together, remember, you don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need permission. You don't even need to feel ready. You only need to take the first step and then the next. Each choice is a brick. Each action is a spark. Stack enough bricks, guard enough sparks, and you won't just build discipline. You'll set your entire life on fire.